What is your Tinder horror story? Well, I've only gone on one Tinder date. We talked for a bit and I agreed to pick her up at Starbucks. She looked nothing like her pictures, but I thought I should be nice and at least hang out with her for a bit. We went to her place and the entire house reeked like cat pee. Like saturated. Then as she proceeded to show me her massive collection of animal tail butt plugs, she screamed at her chihuahua and smacked it right on the nose and without missing a beat just asks if I want to make out on the couch. I awkwardly sat down and pretended to look at my phone and made up that my grandma was dying so I could GTFO. One of the many reasons I'm sad my Mima passed away. So I met this girl on Tinder and went for a lunch date. We had a pretty good connection so we decided to have dinner as well. After having a few drinks one thing led to another and ended up back at my place. We hooked up and went to sleep. Middle of the night I wake up. She's intensely staring at me while she's crouched behind the bed. I asked her if everything is alright. She said yes and got back into bed. I thought, little creepy, but probably nothing to worry about. She lays down to cuddle with me and she's wet. At the time, I was like, damn, I must just be a stallion. Fast forward to the morning. She's gone and there's a wet puddle beside the bed. She peed on my floor. I still don't understand it. I had a bathroom, but maybe she just got lost and couldn't hold it. I did not hear from her again. Edit. Just want to be clear. We were both tipsy, and not sloppy drunk. Sleepwalking? This exact thing happened to me once. It was a girl I had been dating for a while. We had a good amount to drink that night. I saw the whole thing happen because she woke me up getting out of bed. She just leaned forward on the bed and let fly. I got her back into bed and cleaned up before going back to sleep myself. And she remembered none of it the next morning. Over the next couple of years I saw her sleepwalk a handful of times. Luckily no other episode required cleaning up bodily fluids. OMG, I had a friend do something like that when she and another friend came to my new place in Seattle and we went out for drinks. I got tired so I went home and they got back much later. I got up during the night and both were passed out on the bathroom floor. One around the toilet and the other next to my roommate's cat's litter box. When I woke up, my roommate told me my friend pooped and peed in the kitchen during the night. My friend had literally peed in the recycling box and pinched a loaf right next to it. I cleaned up the pee but I insisted she clean up the turd lol. She had no knowledge of doing it because she drunk sleepwalked. This guy asked me if I would be interested in dating his dad. Pretty sure that guy was a catfish, said dad pretending to be guy. Talked to him for 2 weeks before we went out and no red flags so we ended up going out to dinner. I said I hadn't been out in a while because I was trying to save money for a washer and dryer. He told me instead of saving for that I should save for a boob job. I didn't even know how to reply so he followed up with, no, it's not a bad thing. My sister and mom both had small tits and got boob jobs and they look amazing. This is all before the waitress even brought our drinks. I just got up and left. Maybe he should just go to sleep with his mother and sister then. Met up with a Tinder girl at Dave & Buster's. She brought me there for a fucking pyramid scheme sign-up presentation. Guess I respect the hustle. Ugh. Happened to me in college. But this was in the early 90s so no Tinder obviously. Met this attractive girl on campus. We had coffee, then a lunch. Nothing ever physical but she seemed into me. One day she calls me, asks me to come by her office. I'm thinking, weird, but okay. I go. She meets me and she brings me in this room. And there's about 10 other guys around my age all sitting around this conference table. We're all looking at each other with these WTF expressions on our face. Then the girl comes back in with her boss and the sales pitch started. I'm just loving the scene of a room full of guys all slowly coming to the realization that they've been honeypotted to a pyramid scheme presentation. We were supposed to meet at 9 p.m. He fell asleep and called me at 9:30 when I was already at the carnival. I told him not to bother coming as I didn't want to see hi monsieur. He asked for another chance and I agreed. Unfortunately, my dad got really ill and had to spend the next 6 weeks in the hospital with me, visiting him daily. I had no time for dates and he got extremely mad. He made a fake Instagram account which he used to follow me and everybody that I followed. He then saw me in a friend's Instagram story and showed up to the restaurant we were at. He called me a whore and a liar and we had to threaten to call the police because he would not leave. Edit. Some of you are asking how it ended and I'll just add this to my comment. He had my number and kept calling me using different phones. I knew it was him because he'd just be silent and I could hear him breathing. He did this for over 10 months. I was even living in a different country towards the end. One day I was expecting a call from a friend and had a missed call from a landline, so I called back. It was his mom. I explained to her what was happening and after a long silence she said, "Please don't call the police. I will talk to him." Never heard from him again. Edit 2. Some people are asking how the convo with his mom went, so I'll just type it here too. I was living in Thailand at the time and I had a friend, Luis, text me the night before telling me that he missed me and he wanted to catch up, so I told him he could call after I finished work. I was a teacher there. When I came back from school I saw I had a missed call from a landline and I assumed it was Luis, so I called back. A woman picked up. Her. "Hello, me. Hi, Teeny Gecko here. I have a missed call." Her. "It must have been Carlos. He's not home at the moment but I'll have him call you later." It clicked for me. I only know 2 guys named Carlos. Me. "Carlos surname?" Her. "Yes." Me. "I am sorry but could I talk to you for a second?" Then I told her everything I remembered. I was so scared she would not believe me and call me a liar, etc. I was shaking and I've never felt so shit. It was nearly 2 years ago and I forget the exact details, but she kept whispering "Dios mío" as I was telling her. She asked me to not call the police and I told her I would if I ever heard from him again. I never did. Edit 3. Some people are asking me how I found out about the fake Instagram account, so here it goes. The reason I was at a restaurant was because my sister had flown in from Dublin to visit my dad for a weekend and she made plans to meet her friends for tapas. I drove her to the restaurant and her friends saw me drop her off and asked me to stay. I did. After a while, I saw him and he yelled. The waiter threatened to call the police. And after the madness I sat back down and we all looked at each other like WTF. I wondered how TF he knew I was there, and the only way he could have known was because one of my sister's friend put up a story where we were all saying "salute" with our drinks and she saw that 140 plus people saw the story. We ended up finding his profile and realized that he had followed everyone I followed, so that's how we all reported the account and it got taken down by Instagram, monsieur. That is another level of fucking creepy LMAO. First date. She wanted me to get into a bar fight with the perfectly friendly guy who'd bought us a round of shots that night. Why? Because she found out he was a Scorpio. Astrology chicks are crazy. Matched with my beef's fiancé after the engagement party. Screenshots of everything and lost my BFF because I don't play that. I was uninvited to the wedding. Marriage lasted 18 months. Edit. Thank you for the gold award. Since so many have asked, I did not swipe right. I took a screenshot and asked my friend what she wanted me to do. She asked me to swipe right to see if he was active. I did and he messaged me asking to hook up. I told him off. He still won't want to hook up. I gave her all the screenshots. He uninvited me from the wedding because he was certain I would embarrass him. Monsieur, he was correct. I wouldn't sleep with my friend's fiancé. Nor would I pretend that he wasn't a jerk. That's why the friendship ended. She was from a culture that required marriage before children. She was desperate for a baby and thought he was her last chance. He was running for a public office and wanted the smiling wife and cute baby. Yes, They both used each other. Edited to add. Yes. They had a baby. Edited to add. No. He did not get elected. If I'm reading this correctly, you were uninvited to the wedding because you were a good friend and showed them that their fiancé was on a hookup dating site. He thought that I would embarrass him at the wedding. It is possible, because he was stupid enough to not only match with his fiancé's best friend but also, once I told him off for it, he still won't wanted to hook up. And he was running for public office. Shocking. I know. She just wanted a baby and culturally had to be married when popping one out. Fresh off a breakup on campus. Match with this really good-looking girl who is talking pure filth. Obviously I'm just an idiot with a hurt heart, so I don't question much. Head over to her place a few days later. She insisted I come over on a certain day at XX o'clock. Usually I would have been sketched out, but it was the middle of the day on a B1G10 campus. What exactly could go that south? Half hour in, her husband came home. I was being used in revenge plot. No more Tinder. Edit. Dang, did not expect this much interest. Apologies for not checking back, haha. Anyway, I pretty much just froze and he started screaming at her in a language I did not speak in. She got up and did the same. It was at an apartment slightly off campus where a lot students lived, so I guess I just assumed she had a roommate that wasn't home. Never assume. I just basically embraced the chaos, grabbed my shit as fast as I could and hightailed it out of there. I can only assume it was intentional based on the specific meet-up. But maybe it was poor luck. Either way, just talk to the cute girl at the coffee shop. It's much better than apps. I'd like to hear the rest of the story. What was she seeking revenge for? What did he do when he saw you? 3 of them played Uno together. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.